How about now? You guys hear me now? Now? I'm getting mixed signals. Okay, you hear me? You can hear me. Okay, cool. Well, okay, here we are in L Minecraft. This is true. I am the most charismatic host of all time. So, let's look. Deltarune, more like Delta Indie Slop. It is Indie Slop, but my friend begged me to play it, so we will play it on stream today. Kiss your baby? I will never do that. That's gross. So anyway, we got these. I didn't build this, but I copied it over here. And let me show you what I did for this Presbyterian cross. Anyway, I know, the most riveting content of all time. Sometimes I don't understand why people watch my stuff, because I'm like, this is very boring, objectively speaking. But we'll get into some interesting stuff coming soon. I don't really have many planned topics up ahead. Become Calvinist? Yes, become Calvinist. But anyway, so we got right up on the roof, there's some blue glass panes that make this blue. Then, of course, it goes through the yellow up top, and then we have some white panes making it white again, because I think they're a little bit off-white, but I don't really care to make them any whiter than that. Gavin Ortland looks like a square Ryan Gosling a little bit. Is this RZ's server? Yes, this is Kingdom Craft. Opinions on... Anyway, we're doing a Q&A stream, so put a Q before your question, and we'll start talking and playing some Minecraft. No way, Base Crusader's gonna join. This is gonna be awesome. I'll head over to Base Crusader's place. How about? Wrong home. Okay. We'll wait till he joins up and then we'll teleport to him. Who is my favorite Catholic? The traditionalist Thomas is probably my favorite living Catholic. I think he is a genuine, honest guy, and I actually really like a lot of his theology, despite, many big errors and disagreements. And if it's like favorite Catholic overall, probably Aquinas. I would consider him a Roman Catholic. Why have I not removed RC as a mod? I don't have any other qualified people. What's the best weapon for the mechanic? I don't play Terraria. Steal a brain rot. All my brain rot is stolen. Well, not all of it, but like a good 35% of my content is just reposting other people's stuff. But sometimes it's genuinely like I feel like that is part of meme culture is just taking other people's memes. But I do try to be transformative, which is why at least like over half my brain rot I just come up with, and then the other half is transforming other people into out of context. So that's my goal. Am I really Luxembourgish Reformed Episcopalian? Absolutely, but they didn't have that denomination on the server, so I put the next closest one, which is Presbyterian. What are my thoughts on the David Wood situation? You're making a drawing about it. So that is interesting, because it's not really unique or new. Like, it's uniquely dangerous right now, but David Wood has always kind of been in this situation. So there's not a major change. Like, we all knew Muslims wanted to kill him. It's like, it's a common thing. It's just so weird that the people from this religion, that some of them, not all of them, but some of them, why is it that there's just a large amount that want to kill people? It's so odd. It's almost like the Quran talks tons about killing infidels all the time. I mean, I don't know about you, but the Bible doesn't do that. It's kind of weird. Where can you get my icon? You could go to my Substack. I have a pretty high quality image there, just as my profile picture. Or you could scroll back in my posts, and it's usually at the end of my videos. Opinion on frogs. I like the frogs, but they're turning them freaking gay. Favorite state in the U.S.? It's probably like... I'm not going to say the state that I live in, because that would be doxing myself. I don't want to do that. So maybe I would say... I kind of like Idaho, Montana. Those are cool states. I haven't been to them, but I like them more than the states that I've been to. Oklahoma's a great state. I have been there. Let's see. Favorite pizza topping? I really like pineapple, but if you don't like pineapple, just get ham. You can kind of get the feeling of having pineapple without actually putting pineapple on it, because I know some of you think that's anathema. That's my favorite pizza topping. Pepperoni is legitimately awesome. Honestly, putting like a sauce on top of your pizza is super underrated. Is this Kingdom Craft? Yes, this is. What games do I play? I play Mario Kart and Minecraft. I don't play other games, but I will be playing Deltarune today because somebody wanted me to play Indie Slop, and I promised him I would. How many times a day do I venerate the ceiling fan? So, the ceiling fan you have to venerate 365 times a day because that's the amount of degrees in a circle. And of course, the ceiling fan moves in a rotational circle to indicate how much it wants to be venerated. I want to cite my systematic on a school paper. Instant A, instant A. Sometimes I cite myself on my school papers, and you know, my teachers love it so much. I think I legitimately did in one of my papers though cite my Substack article, and because like you could have as many citations as you wanted. I think I just did it as a joke, but they didn't seem to notice or care. Can you? I feel like that's an attempted trap, but whoever this Mike guy is, shout out to Mike. Favorite political commentator? Right now it's Aaron McIntyre because he actually talks about political theory instead of just yapping about what he's angry about today. Which we actually do need people that just yap about what they're angry about, but they need to do it in an effective way, which I think Aaron is much better at because he actually understands the basics of political theory. Well, I didn't cite it as myself, which is maybe dishonesty in an academic sense, so I don't know. Do any of my teachers know about my channel? No. No, they do not. Yeah, you gotta try that. Yeah. I mean, honestly, at a certain point, like, if you're a really good scholar, can you just cite yourself? Dean Withers? Not Dean Withers. Oh, Dean is very annoying. Yeah, if you're not a Christian, you can't understand politics, although most Christians don't understand politics either. And that might seem like a crazy statement because the basis of political theory is on secular politics like Aristotle and Plato, which, hot take, Zwingli agreed with me, this is not anathema in the Reform, but Aristotle and Plato were probably Christians, although through through unorthodox means. So I'm not dogmatic on their salvation, but I do think that's an acceptable Christian view to believe that they were saved. It was pretty common in the patristics, so it's called writing. Yeah, citing yourself that's true. Opinion on Clash Royale meme audio lately. I really should know more about memes, seeing as I am a bit of a memer myself, but I have no idea. I've never played Clash Royale either. Based, truly, truly based. All right, let's go. Let's go look at Zoomer's church. Watch this. Da, 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 da. Favorite political commentator is Parker? Parker who? What is this chat, bro? I don't know. Yeah. It is true that, yeah, Augustine did say Plato did not end up accepting the Christian faith, which makes sense because I can't remember if it was Plato or Aristotle who it's widely believed had access to the Hebrew scriptures. And if you had access to that and outwardly rejected it, you're definitely not a Christian, so. Am I gliding? I am. This is my cape. It looks kind of like a dirt block. No central pulpits. Yeah. I low-key did ask my pastor one time. I said, "Hey, can you move your preaching to the side? Oh, why is the pulpit? These are invisible blocks." But unfortunately, the pulpit is still in the middle at our church. I don't think Faithfully Fishing for Facts deleted his channel. I think he just deleted all the videos on it. Honestly, I'm kind of over it. Like, I did all that I could. What do you expect me to do? We weren't, like, good old buddies or anything. I know people who knew him better. than I did, but it's really unfortunate actually. But that just kind of shows, it goes to show you, you really shouldn't be engaging in certain levels of apologetics without an actual calling to it. Which is why I've tried to go more away from actual apologetics online to just like polemically annoying Roman Catholics because I find that more fun and effective. Although they get really annoyed at it, so it doesn't seem to be super effective. Presby's like it in the middle. I think we're just wrong on that. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. He did delete it. I swear I could still see it just with all the videos, but I don't know. Maybe that's just me being weird. He scrubbed his channel. See, I thought he still had the channel up, but he just deleted all the videos. Knocks the Presby cow. John knocks the Presby sheep number 4 and a chicken. I can't kill anything here, though. Okay, hang on. I gotta find... I'll just go back in the church and fly. No? There we go. Very, very safe. I recommend all of you do that. Who am I on Minecraft? I'm a little Womprat, or Lil Womprat. This is cool. There's so much in his church that you just don't realize is there. But where is the Sky Chapel? Because there's a little room. And, oh, I think is it up this tower? That staircase is unsafe. That's not up to code. All the Kingdom Craft lore in one video would, what would it be? Or in one word. Oh, one word. Autistic. I think that's how I would summarize all the Kingdom Craft lore. It's just like, it's autism in the form of a video game. Also, ceiling fan. Let's see. Chat. Naming your sons John Knox and John Calvin. That's based. Did I build the ceiling fan? I did not. My favorite game? Probably Minecraft. Minecraft, yes. How long has Zoomer been working on this church? 3 years now? Who put all the chickens in the church? Random people. It's all you can really do here. He deleted his channel, and he's they, them. Yeah, that is the thing, too. You really should, if you're a Christian and you struggle with any type of sexual immorality, you should abstain from doing apologetics. That's just not something... Like, again, these things do affect the mind. When you struggle with certain sins, you are inclined to defend those certain sins. And, yeah, no apologist is going to be sinless, but you definitely should not be engaging in apologetics if you are in that condition. Yeah, autism is like Deltarune. I don't like TikTok. I'm not going on TikTok. Although I would debate Dean Withers. That seems kind of like it's really fun to do. Maybe. We'll get in more into politics next summer, and I'm starting my political show next month, which is very soon, and I realize I gotta finish a couple of videos for that ahead of time. Because I think if I make 2 videos at once and then I just schedule them out for 2 weeks, I'll probably be more consistent with that. What denomination? I am Presbyterian. At least on this server, because really I'm Luxembourgish Reformed Episcopalian. How many Catholics are here right now? On the Minecraft server, there's 3. Am I on X? I am not on X, and if you see someone who has my name on Twitter, it is not me. His Twitter account is older than my channel, but yeah, I will be going on Twitter eventually, but I just don't care right now. It's a lot of work. Would I debate Fuentes on pizza toppings? Maybe. I think there's a lot of things I debate Nick Fuentes on first, but I would debate him on pizza toppings. That might unironically be the best debate. Okay, hang on. Cordy this guy in chat just said being gay isn't wrong. Shame him. No, I'm kidding. Don't shame him. What denom is Wilhelmius? The wrong one? Truk. No, you see, what we need to do is we just need to reform the Prussian Union churches. And then I can then be Lutheran and you can be Presbyterian and it'll be perfect. Okay, in fact, the Prussian Union churches were actually the one true church, and the church went out of existence. So the church was the Prussian Union churches for like 300 years, and then it just went away and it didn't exist anymore, and it became the Prussian Union Church. Look at this guy. Is he carrying a stone sword? Oh, let me. Hey, you want some gifts? He's got John Calvin on his back. I'll give him some stuff. Out of benevolence. Um. Look at his skin. He's got redeemed zoomer on front. Wow. Take some coal. I wish I had more to give you. Actually, I'll say I'll be back with more. I don't think he knows the trading hall yet. Alright, what's up, chat? VeggieTales is your infallible magisterium. That's true. If VeggieTales isn't a higher authority to you than the Bible, I don't know what's wrong with you. Let's see. Yeah, I'll give him a stack of wood. Will be nice. Favorite reformer is Muhammad Truk. Muhammad was a great Christian theologian. I'm sure there is one named Muhammad, but I don't know. Here he is. Hey. Hey, you. I got stuff for you. You want stuff? I'm trying to give you things. Here. Take it. Take it. Take the stuff. Come on. Yeah, there you go. No, there's wood here for you. It's for you. It's for you. Take it. Oh yeah, post the Alzut, that's when Muhammad became a base Christian. Is John Calvin allowed in Agartha? John Calvin rules Agartha. That's Redeem Zoomer. He was just flying. No way. He showed up on a Crafterman stream. Not a Crafterman. I'm not Crafterman. On a diaper stream. That was Crafterman. Thoughts on Taco Talks? Taco Talks is a heretic who manifestly does not have the fruits of the Spirit. And I won't say anything else beyond that. He probably is a Christian, but man, is he just completely heretical. Like, did you see the clips a couple months ago after that school was shot up, and then he refused to pray for those kids, like with the Roman Catholics, because during the debate, he just sat there staring at the camera like a psychopath. And I'm not saying he's not a Christian, but that's such a terrible thing to do and should disqualify him from any apologetics ministry. And he clearly isn't in submission to a church's authority because he's just like a non-denom. He's a biblical Christian, quote unquote. And he definitely, which means he doesn't submit to a local church's authority, at least not properly. Oh yeah, I don't even know what's going on in the Minecraft chat. I have the YouTube chat on my phone on the side, and it's... Yeah, don't goon. Don't do it. Watch this instead. Thoughts on tacos? They're great food, but Americans made them better. Some put some theological ideology over Jesus. That is true. Zoomer just started a stream? Really? Biblicism. Yeah, biblicism is toxic. And, well, it ultimately comes down to the epistemological claim that you can understand all the scriptures and that you understand exactly yourself, which, now it is true that the scriptures can be rightly understood, but they cannot be rightly understood in their entirety by an individual. This is why we've been given the church and teachers. Now, yeah, you can understand basics like what you need to be saved. That can be discerned either plainly or from good and necessary consequence. This guy is teleporting me? Oh, hello, Base Crusader. Welcome. This is my old house in the mining lands. It's kind of garbage. Are you listening to the stream, Base Crusader? I don't know if he is. Netan Yakub is Jemmy? Yeah, that's the guy. Die, chicken. Where did he go? Okay. It seems like he is listening to the stream. So I can say whatever I want. But, well, he could type in the chat, I guess. Let's see. Base Crusader 69. This is actually Base Crusader 67. Whee! So this is his church, which I noticed Base Crusader doesn't have any beacons in it. I have 7 beacons in my church, but that is because I went and grinded, and I think the server is set on easy mode, so it's not, and it's like you don't even really get hurt that much. Opinion on chud maxing? I am a chud maxer, actually. If you're not a chud, you're an NPC. This is the truth of reality. Become a chud. Become chud pilled. If you are not chud pilled, you don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what to tell you. Am I gonna have 6 or 7? 6 or 7 what? You're gonna miss the stream. You love the content. That's okay. I'll leave it up afterward. That's true. You do need to decorate, but it is a nice looking church. It's much bigger than my church. You missed like 30 seconds. What is an opinion on how chud pilled you are? You are like a level 3 chud pilled. I'm maybe like a level 7 chud pilled. It's kind of hard to be properly chud pilled because there's so much that goes into it. RZ is streaming. Well, I guess we gotta go crash his stream. I don't know, because I kind of want to watch his stream, but we could do live reaction to it. I don't know. What do you guys want to do? Do you want me to keep streaming and watch this instead of Redeem Zoomer? Because you can ask me whatever questions with 0 money, and I will answer it, assuming I see it. And sometimes I do not, because I'm watching... Was Base Crusader killed from a skeleton? Live reaction to the live stream? Could be fun, could be fun. Live reaction? Okay. RZ is chud maxing. We live react. Okay. Let me, submit to Wilhelmius. Hey, this Timothy Snow guy is right. Submit to me. Okay then. Let me pull up Redeem Zoomer's stream, and we'll check it out. This is the most worthless content of all time. Imagine going, let's live stream reacting to this guy's live stream.
1900s gave up on the whole iconoclasm thing. Do I agree with that? No, but there are much, much bigger problems in the PC USA to take care of. When all of our ministers believe in God, then we can worry about petitioning your church to take down a stained glass depiction of Jesus.
Yep, that is very true. You do want people to believe in the necessities and basics of the faith before you worry about ancillary issues. Okay. Peak content, truly.
Oh, wait, did I misspell the name of this? Oh, yeah, sorry. I did misspell the name of this stream. There we go. My spelling has never been good.
Let's see if he reacts. We'll skip forward.
I already gave 6, 7 reasons, but that's not enough for people, apparently.
I'm reacting to this live. Also, do you guys want to know? I have a plan, so I'm going to make a YTP out of Redeem Zoomer's 67 reasons he's not Catholic. And it's going to start and be like, I'm going to find, I've never watched this show, but it was called 13 Reasons Why, and it was about, like, suicide or something. It was dumb, or whatever. But I'm going to, people will say, this is my 13th reason. And Redeem Zoomer in the video said that Oh, this is my 13th reason is that Roman Catholics something something infallible dogma, and I'll make it be like seem like he wants to end himself. It'd be really funny actually, but we will see exactly what's going on with that in the future. I have not quite made it yet, but I got to go through and clip farm and then put it all together. Yeah, two streams at once. Let's see.
Did I read Ayn Rand in high school? I didn't read Ayn Rand for high school, but I read a little bit of Ayn Rand in high school.
Oh, I hate Ayn Rand so much.
It's like, she's smart, but I don't see why any Christian should support her ideas. She's literally an atheist who advocates for selfishness. So,
Yeah, quite literally. Well, and she also decides, she tries to replace ideas of who's this guy? Pharaoh. Why is this guy talking to me? Is he
I don't see
okay?
why any Christians are like that.
But anyway, but Ayn Rand basically tries to replace ideas of Christianity, within a secular framework. Thoughts on Anne Frank? I don't know if she was even real, guys. I don't know. Hello, Lohomius
What do I think of
Fantator.
Steven Anderson? Okay, Steven Anderson is like the epitome of crazy fundamentalist Baptists, But I do have to say, the one time I listened to Steven Anderson, it was pretty funny, I gotta say. So maybe I should listen a bit more just when I feel like I need some entertainment.
That might be the best way to deal with Steven Anderson, because honestly, he's genuinely funny, but not because he has a really good sense of humor, because he's terrible at making jokes, but it's so funny to listen to. Do I like Steven Anderson? Definitely my favorite preacher. Everything he teaches about the Bible and baptism and salvation, it's all super true. Thoughts on anti-disestablishmentarianism in the current climate in the UK? Um, Actually, I think you should want the church to be established and authoritative, but you should most importantly want to basically, reconquista the church and then have that very same church be the actual conservative mainline Church of England. Because honestly, England is not that far from saving if the church can be revived. If you revive your church, you're set. Like, you are set, actually. Yeah, Jordan Peterson is funny for the same reasons. That's true. Yeah, Jordan Peterson is, well, and also, Jordan Peterson's voice is funnier than Steven Anderson's, in my opinion. Yeah. Are Reformed Baptists based? Quite, actually. I have a soft spot for Reformed Baptists.
Like, I don't really listen to, I don't care about, I shouldn't say I don't care about politics. Politics is important. But I don't listen to political content except for when I'm bored and I need just something funny to listen to. That's when I listen to political content. So maybe I'll listen to Steven Anderson just so I can have something funny to listen to.
This is kind of what I was talking about earlier with why I said I really liked Orrin McIntyre, because, again, most political content, if political content is just like, oh, I'm bored, let me listen to something funny, that's not actually politics. That's just talking about politics. It's not doing any of the politics. Whereas if you sit down to an R. McIntyre show, like the other day, he did an hour-long show on Aristotle and dictators. You're not going to find that anywhere else. So I don't know. Wilhelmius, how am I doing today? I am doing great. Sitting down. I was playing Minecraft, but now I'm reacting to Redeem Zoomer live. Really riveting content right here. I might go back to Minecraft legitimately. We'll see what happens.
Okay, Deutsche Amerikaner says 665,000 reasons I'm not Lutheran. Is that number because that's about how many subscribers I have right now? If not, where'd you get that number from? Yeah, the U.S. politics
You
are.
gotta answer the question, Zoomer. He asked a basic question. Come on, come on. Deltarune later in the stream. Probably soon. Thoughts on Dante? He was a brilliant writer. Kind of a soy jack. Would I play No Man's Sky? Yeah, but I just don't own it right now. That'd be money. Thoughts on Jay Dyer? He's legitimately funny, but he's kind of a modernist, so he holds to German idealism as his not political, as his philosophy, and he's a skeptic, he's a nihilist, like, he's an epistemic nihilist, I should say. And many, many bishops in his own church warn congregants about him. And instead of saying, maybe I should submit to their authority, he's like, actually, they're the modernist. How dare they teach things like penal substitutionary atonement and divine simplicity, even though my church taught it for hundreds of years? It's funny. Yeah. But anyway, I don't know. I go back and forth on Jay Dyer. Smart guy, but not the best. You're at Walmart buying groceries. You love watching people live stream. Yeah, that's nice. Dante was a Giga Chad only because he painted himself like a Giga Chad in the meme, and he painted the other guy as a soy jack. But that's soy jack behavior. Yeah. Your cat's named Dante? His patriarchs are modernists, though. That's true. I mean, I think the patriarch over the area that I'm pretty sure over the area of the country that I'm in, although I actually don't know how big the patriarch's jurisdiction is. Is it over like an area of the country or like a town or a whole country or a state? I actually don't know. But very close to here, like within 4 or 5 states, is um, 4, 5, 6, or 7 states. The guy is like pro-choice or something. Like El Pitaforos, because I think he's in within like 27 states of me. So that's pretty close.
For a clown show.
Have I ever been to Epstein's Island? Unfortunately, I've never had the privilege of going to Epstein's Island. Unfortunately, as Donald Trump would say. It's my favorite book of the Bible. I think Proverbs, because whenever I read it, I realize I'm pretty stupid. What's happening in RZ's chat? Armadillo, armadillo, armadillo. That's what's happening. Um, in Eastern Europe, it's one patriarch per country. Then there's one patriarch over North and South America. Interesting. Okay. So, so El Pitaforos would be the patriarch over the U.S. then. Huh.
Personally, I think there's still hope for Joe Biden to win in 2028. That's what I think.
Trook Nuke.
No, I'm not saying whether or not I support him, but I think Joe Biden's going to win in 2028. That's my prediction.
Oh, that's funny. I mean, we could go into election politics, but honestly, I think we got to wait have to wait until after the midterms in order to actually know who will win. I think then we'll have a much better guess.
Because, like, he might be old and senile, but that's basically a prerequisite for politics these days. So that shouldn't hurt his campaign.
You gotta just love RZ's dry sarcasm because again, like that's a really norming political take, but it's really funny when you listen to it. Like that was funny. Have I ever sang a cappella psalms? Not in church, but it's like randomly. I guess when I have no instrument, I'll sing a cappella. Christian conspiracy theorists, I believe 6 7 is Satan's new favorite number. Yeah, you shouldn't listen to those people. They're cringe. Uh, the actual patriarch of America would be the Metropolitan Tikhonov of the OCA, who is the Metropolitan in North America and Canada. Interesting. How are you? How am I celebrating Zut Day? Is it Al Zut Day? That seems like a great day. I'll celebrate today by praying to Allah like the Roman Catholics want me to.
Mm.
Riveting content right here. Truly, truly.
Ayn Rand's followers have good refutations of Immanuel Kant. I haven't heard that one. So I'm going to go on a
Emmanuel
journey all across.
Immanuel Kant, both Jay Dyer's favorite philosopher as well as what's his face? Who's the dork? Oh, like James White. James White and Jay Dyer. They both love Immanuel Kant, but Dyer just has the youthful ability to just run circles around James White.
The Presbyterian country of Tridonia today because there was this enormous new Presbyterian church built. The biggest church of any kind on this Minecraft server was just built, and it's like a modern cathedral type style. It's made of quartz and stained glass and stuff. So I want to go see it.
Yo, traditionalist Thomas is in the chat. I thought he got pounced on upon by his diocese because he hasn't released a video in like 2 months. It's unfortunate. Let's see. How do you have a bone to pick with Redeem Zoomer about Civil War reenacting?
This is on the East Coast. And that church is on the west coast. This is the East Coast Borealis. I'm going to a city called San Venisburg on the west coast.
San
All
Venisburg.
right. Thanks, Zahn, for the super chat. What do you think is the best way to evangelize to non Christian friends or plant the seed? Love from Australia. Thank you, Zahn. So, I think when it comes to people you know personally, like friends or family, arguing with them and trying to like convince them to be Christian usually doesn't work. I mean, if you think it can work, then go ahead. But I think the best way to do it is live differently than the rest of the world. Try to be a good example of a Christian and people will ask you questions. It's not an if. If you live differently than the rest of the world, um, people will ask you questions.
Yeah, I think RZ is basically right there. RZ, it's a question is in RZ chat about Mike Winger. Nerd, true. Um, what are my opinions on Odin's greatest warrior? What if autist? I mean he's fairly smart. I just I don't know. He's just ridiculous. Gia Maria is Italian grave mine. That is so true. Write a page-long explanation of why it's the Metropolitan of the OCA, but it would be fruitless. Jurisdictional issues in America are whack. Yeah, Orthodoxy just like people talk about it being so united and orderly and whatnot, but then you look at their jurisdictions and who's in communion with who, and it's like very one church of you. Very like I'm not even questioning whether or not that makes it the one true church, but just the fact that it's the idea that it's even one church is very tenuous. It could be true, and I'm sure there are enough connections everywhere, but there's so much mental finagling there that you could easily say that like by that standard, the entirety of the mainline churches are all one church. Even though we'd all say it's like it's seven mainline churches, but I don't know. Yeah. hmm No, Gia Maria's the Italian version. We got the armadillo guy in my chat. This is so based. The peasant has arrived. It looks like he just got censored. That's funny. Okay, as much as I want to watch RZ, I think we're gonna swap over and we're gonna try to play Deltarune for like 20 minutes, and then we'll see what goes on after that. Oh, it's kind of loud. Yes, I want to start from chapter 1. It won't let me full screen it, which is... See, this is why I need to practice these games beforehand, because I don't know... What recording software am I using? I'm using OBS Studio. Deltarune, I guess. Bro isn't straight anymore. Well, I can't even get the game to start, so, you know, still very straight. Well, Helmius, when is my next Substack article? You want to read something good? It's coming. I'm trying to get it out this weekend. I'm working on it. It's on the uses of words in society and racism and whatnot. And so you will be, well, Helmius is playing gay games. Yeah, I don't know. I promised I would play it on stream at least a little bit. Um, but anyway, I think it'll be good. It's another Dear Chud article, which I think are the funnest to write. Because I wrote like 3 of those in 1 week, and then I just stopped for some reason. But I have a few of them planned. I just need to sit down and write them. I want to do one Dear Chud article a week. You ask William Lane Craig if he's a heretic? Well, most people don't identify as heretics, so I'm guessing he said no. Gravemind? You are proof of total depravity. Okay, well, Deltarune is being really annoying to open, so I'm gonna go back to Minecraft for a bit, if I can connect to the server. Although it's probably really active right now, because Zoomer is streaming. Which means it's probably laggy. No, doesn't seem too laggy. Building just fine. When I first started, it was so hard to stay on the server. He's dodging. Yeah, I did dodge your question, Grave Mine. Why would you say that question? Why do I sound like Isaiah Long but with no southern accent? I have no idea. I don't pay attention to my voice because it's kind of high pitched a little bit ish, and then people just point out, so you just got to kind of ignore it. I am no longer gay. Minecraft is a very straight game. Very straight game. Let's see. Let's see if Redeem Zoomer will let me teleport to him. Don't dox your real name. Use a voice changer like Mike Winger does. That's true, because Mike Winger, he really sounds like this. This is what Mike Winger sounds like. Do I play Halo? I haven't played Halo in like 8 years. I was a little kid. Thoughts on Uma Musume? Isn't that anime? Hot take, Minecraft is mid? I think you're actually correct. Minecraft used to be better when it was simpler. Gravemind, you're going to be banned from chat. You're being annoying. Live stream Halo. I don't own Halo. I'm not going to go buy a video game. Hast thou played Terraria? I've never played... Oh, no, okay, that's not true. I have played Terraria. I played it with my cousin. I like Terraria, but it's not as good as Minecraft. Okay. Let's see. So, in the 67th book of Wilhelmus van Diper's Reform Systematic, he says that to say 67 times in a row, times 67, actually, if you divide that all by 8, multiply each letter by the Greek alphabet, you will get the Bible. And he does all the math. It's like really complex. And I don't understand it, but it's true. You gotta read it. It's all on my Substack, linked in my channel. Okay, what do you guys want me to do here? Horse anime, interesting. Redeem Zoomer and tell him armadillos are supreme. Okay. True, true. Terraria is not 100 times better than Minecraft. That's a cringe take. Does that mean 67 is a holy number? Yes. Hey, I mean, there are 6 things the Lord hates, yea 7 he detesteth. So my mic just peaked like crazy there. Mewing is Gnosticism? Mewing is not Gnosticism. That's like a gay Trent Horn take. You should care about your physical appearance, but do not sin in. But don't do it in a sinful way. Okay. Poop. Deltarune. I tried to play Deltarune, and I opened it up, and it was like screaming at me with loud music, and it was really annoying, and I couldn't get it to start. But I'll try again in a bit. Kid Furry is the type of guy to have his username end in YT. True. Wombats are more based. Is cyberpunk based? You mean the genre or the game? Because that's gonna. My answer will be different. Because if it comes down to as a genre, yeah, it's a based genre. Although I don't think it properly deals with certain ideas, but it has very good content within it as a genre. If you're talking about the game, I haven't played it, but from what I'm aware of, it's based. Although it has certain, shall we say, adult content, which is quite inappropriate and should probably not be engaged in. Have I beaten the boss in Terraria? Yeah, I beat the first one. Mew at your best friend? Mew. Deltarune is autism the game? Truk. I don't know if I'm that autistic, guys. Because I can't even get it to start. Killed the slime. Could I beat Trent Horn in a debate? Well, it depends on what we're debating about. Because I think I actually have better rhetoric than Trent Horn. And I could probably beat him in the debate on, like, politics or something. But I definitely couldn't beat him in a theology debate because Trent Horn just knows more than me. And Trent Horn oftentimes has kind of slimy rhetoric, like when he did his whole Protestant worship problem video. That rhetoric was very effective on a lot of Roman Catholics, and it put Roman Catholics in a position where they think they had a epistemological justification for denying Protestantism. Because Protestants allegedly don't worship God. But really all it was just redefining a couple words, and it was really just, frankly, dishonest. So I don't get the Protestant love of Trent Horn. Wombats. What's on my mind right now? Like looking into research. Right now, I am doing a little bit. I'm reading Philip Schaff's On the Principle of Protestantism, which is really short. I just need to finish it, but I'm being lazy and live streaming instead. And I also got the book Church History in Plain Language. It's a great overview of all church history. I'm just trying to go over through all the basics, doing a reread of the Bible, getting it all in, absorbing it. Can I beat the ceiling fan in a debate? No, I can't. I came all the way to Walmart, and then you realize you didn't actually need anything. Now you're going to Dollar Tree. They actually have the stuff. Yeah, cool. Well, my subscriber rate is stagnant because I don't post content. Like, my channel is ostensibly dead. I've fallen off. Just look at my community post engagement. Like, I don't post many of those anymore either. But it's okay. I'm working on new content for Wilhelm's Lounge, which is my second channel you all should subscribe to. Um, Minecraft over Terraria. Yeah, Minecraft is just a significantly better game. How do I survive the PC USA ninjas? You gotta be very careful. Yeah, it's true. I did fall off. It was a controlled descent though. Okay, it was like the two towers. It was a controlled descent. I fell off on purpose, okay? Like the two towers, I fell on purpose. Is it a sin for a woman to date 10 different men in 1 week, each separately? All of them care about her. She was doing it to troll the dumb guys, and this woman is not real. That woman doesn't sound not real. Oh my goodness, I did not mean to do that. I would say that's sinful. What did I fall off of? I don't know. I just fell off. Thoughts on the Maltese Legion? It's based. So the Maltese Legion on my Discord server, there's a bunch of anti-Calvinist scum, and the Maltese Legion is a is a union of Augustinians. It's like two Lutherans and a bunch of fake Calvinists. I'm probably the only actual Calvinist on the server, but to be fair, I'm the only one who's done any like legitimate research into Calvinism beyond a YouTube video. Oh, hey, Reformed bro. I think he's a Baptist. Why do I spend the majority of my time on Discord getting rage baiting Catholics? Because it's fun. When is Isaiah LaFone going to interview me? That's a good idea. I think so. On my Wilhelm's Lounge channel, I am planning a video about Isaiah LaFone. He doesn't know this yet, so I'll send him my video script. Probably, I'll probably post the script just on Substack beforehand and send it to him. See what he thinks. But I'm gonna do basically the equivalent of political vag posting as a critique of Isaiah LaFone, because I want it to both be funny and informative. So we'll see how it goes. Rage baiters will not inherit the kingdom of God. True. When will I interview Gravemind? Never. I don't think you're really worth my time for interviewing. No offense, but like, if I interview someone on my channel, it would be like Redeem Zoomer, Deutero, Comical, um, maybe Isaiah LaFone, or an actual scholar, which eventually at some point I do want to move this channel over to being a mixture of really serious theological content and non-serious stuff, but right now I'm too dumb to do serious theological content, and I ought not do it for the sake of the kingdom, and that's something a lot of Roman Catholics can learn on the internet. It's a significantly better game. No, look, the bosses in Minecraft are bad, but that's because they're just Minecraft, okay? It's been a pleasure participating. Good to see you, Gia Maria. Have fun. Wombats have a unique defense method, and armadillos do is get a really pulling ball. Okay, let's we will go to the Blaze Farm, and I say we go and we farm up some wither skeletons. Anyway, I should probably decide a full topic beforehand so I can yap for like 15 minutes while I kill these. Give me a moment, give me a moment. Let me look at the chat to see. Is the Nether demonic? Yeah, it's actually where all the Mormon churches get built. Okay, give me a moment. I'm gonna drink some water, and then we're gonna find a thing to talk about, and then I'll go kill some withers. Alright, so, after a week of school, I've now done 2 full weeks back in it. I found that this semester I have a much more flexible workload in terms of when I can get stuff done and how long it takes to do. And so I've realized I need to start actually working more on both serious study of scripture and history and also videos because I legitimately do like making these and I need to make more. So my goal is for one video a week on Wilhelm's Lounge, which is my second channel, and I'll start that probably the first or second week of February, maybe the 6th or 7th week of February. I don't know. And those I also want to generally have a mostly complete script, which I'll try to post on Substack, but sometimes I just want to go off the cuff. And I also want to write one Dear Chud article a week until I get burnt out of that, because those are just so much fun to write. Very enjoyable. And so if you like those, there will be more. If any of you read my Substack, which you should, it's a really based Substack. And it's probably mortal sin not to read it, actually. You'll probably go to hell if you don't. I don't know what to tell you, but I don't make the rules. But there's a chapter in the 67th volume of Diaper's Dogmatics that explain why if you don't read Wilhelmius van Diaper, you won't share his philosophical presuppositions, and therefore you won't be saved. So you have to read me, actually, to be saved. Normatively. Normatively. Um, it's true. You see, this is why, like, I don't understand how Redeem Zoomer does it, because he doesn't have these weird pauses while he's playing. Whereas when I focus in on playing, I don't talk at all. Oh my goodness, I'm bad at this game. Anyway, so that's the plan. And then for this channel, I do have a YTP of Redeem Zoomer planned. Um, I'll probably just call it Out of Context number 7, because that'll get me more views, but it'll be a YTP. And that'll be going through Redeem Zoomer's 67 reasons that he's not Catholic. Yeah, I did literally just fall off. Watch, I'll do it again. But yeah, that's the plan. And then, of course, I plan a lot of study because I want to get to the point where I can make some serious intellectual and apologetical content, rather than just like slop polemics in my community posts, which is basically the most that I'll do at this point. Which, again, always makes Roman Catholics incredibly mad. And it's so funny because, like, you guys legitimately, sometimes they legitimately think that I just believe, like, a falsehood about them when it's clearly not what I'm saying. And this is the problem too, where people will assume that, like, I'll make an argument and I'll say this is the logical conclusion of what Roman Catholics believe about like icon veneration, and they say, well, we say you shouldn't worship icons, therefore we don't. And it's like, well, you just missed the part of the argument where I said the logical conclusion of what you do is the worship of icons. Like, and that same thing happens in community quotes. Gravemind, why are you timing out people? Anyway, so that's quite funny. It is quite funny to see and understanding these debate dynamics, because as you do more of these debates, you have to become more detached from them over time, and it is funny to see these debate tactics working out. And I look back at old debates and can actually really see, especially watching other people's debates, like where I would have done things differently and where they did things that I wouldn't have done at the time that were actually really good and effective. Yeah. So anyway, trying to grow my skills as a debater. And then I'm also trying to master Presbyterian theology, because, of course, I did not grow up Presbyterian. I grew up Baptist, so I haven't been inculcated in this world very well. Fun fact, like, obviously, as the descendant of Wilhelmius van Diaper, I knew about Wilhelmius van Diaper since I was born, but, like, I didn't know what Presbyterianism was until Redeem Zoomer. That's kind of funny. Maybe a little bit embarrassing. but just a little bit. Like not really that much. I can't help that I didn't know. But opinion on what happened to Renee Good and Alex Preddy. That's quite interesting. Yeah, my opinion is, well, I don't think either of these were necessarily fully bad shoots, although like they were obviously not perfect. They were unideal. We don't want Americans dying. We have to recognize that there's at least like in the Renee Good shooting, that was entirely her fault. Like she shouldn't have done any of that. And the Alex Preddy shooting, he obviously did something incredibly stupid. You shouldn't be carrying a gun and getting yourself in altercations with cops like multiple times, because that wasn't the first time. And it just so happened that this time with DHS, it wasn't ICE actually that shot him. It was DHS. There was a there was a surprise uh, discharge of his gun after it was removed from him because he was carrying a gun while getting into dangerous altercations with Department of Homeland Security officers. That's a really dangerous thing to do, and you are trained not to do those things when you get guns, so he should have known better, and we can blame him for that. Regardless of whether, like, we could say, yeah, it was an unjust use of force with the cops. We can say that, or DHS. We can say that. I don't necessarily believe that, but you can say that and still acknowledge that, yeah, he was at least to some degree at fault because that was super stupid. You shouldn't do stupid things like that. But my ultimate takeaway, actually, as a conservative who wants to win and wants to save the future of my country, is I think we do need to, in some ways, just say, yeah, like that's not the best, and then just move on. And we need to realize that is a consequence of doing these, like, stopping mass immigration and undoing all of the illegal immigration was what the people voted for. It's what everyone voted for, and this is what it takes to do it. So we have to put that first because that is, like, the future of our country is at stake. So that's more important. And it is collateral damage. It's unfortunate, but like, what did we expect? That there was going to be zero bad deaths? And again, these people don't have to protest. Like when they're out there protesting, they're protesting for people who did evil things to children to stay in this country. Like Renee Good died trying to save the life of a pedophile, like trying to stop him from being deported. That's evil, and it shows that they care more about foreigners than they do about American children. That's an evil thing, and they ought not do evil. So, like, if you read the Psalms and it talks about these people that just really love doing evil and that's all they do, that is what these anti-ICE protests are because they clearly show they love foreigners more than they love their own people. That's an evil thing. So anyway, that's my take on it. Okay, let me kill these skeletons and then we'll get find some more people. There we go. There's a skull. Two more. Ice is base. What was the creature? Ice is crunchy. Ice is full of ice. It is very cold out, so there's like also massive snowstorms recently, so there's more ice over the country than generally, like most of the time of the year. Let's see. Obama had 53. 53 what? Why do I only target the black skeletons? Look, when the black wither skeletons are only 13% of the Nether's population and they commit 67% of the violent crime, sometimes you just gotta realize what's going on and take things into your own hands, man. That's gonna be clipped out of context, but whatever. No, I'd kill the white skeletons too. I hate all people. See, I'm not a racist. I hate every race. Um, Obama had 53 deaths under ICE. Yeah, Trump hasn't even hit 53 deaths, I believe, so far. And you know why Obama didn't have so many deaths under ICE? It's because the people in the cities actually cooperated with ICE. So if these people weren't out there protesting and they were cooperating, these deaths wouldn't be happening. These deaths are only happening because people are getting themselves involved in altercations with ICE officers and DHS, which they shouldn't be doing. This is the law. We have the right to enforce our laws. And we have the right to enforce our borders. Like, if we can't deport these people, then borders don't exist. And you can say borders don't exist, but then I just don't care what you believe, and I want you out of my country, and I don't want you voting, because that means you don't care about our borders or our people. So, yeah, there is a reason why there were only 53 deaths related to ICE under Obama, and it's because people were actually cooperating. These cities weren't sanctuary cities. There weren't these massive protests. Let's see. I should run for governor. I've thought about running for governor. I have legitimately thought about it, but I can't legally yet. I have a Discord server. I do have a Discord server. I haven't posted an invite link to it in forever because it got really out of hand, and like half the people on there are degenerates, and there's just way too many Roman Catholics. But I do have one. Eventually, I will maybe after this, I will post a link to it. Maybe I'll post a link in the chat before the end of the live stream, and then in the comment section afterwards, I'll pin it. So if you want to join, you can join us as soon as we're done. Right now, I'm out here killing wither skeletons. Where's the netherite? See, Paul, I gotta go mining. I gotta go mining for the netherite. Where's your netherite? Do do do. All right. These wither skeletons don't spawn as frequently as I would like. The other Osh Mayaz. I don't know, like, what's up with Osh or Ash Mayaz or whatever, because he was like a secular Jew until like 5 minutes ago, and then now he's an apologist against you. Like, I, he's Roman Catholic now, but he used to be a secular Jew, and he's still doing, anti-Judaism apologetics, which that confuses me, and I don't think he should be doing that. I think he's a catechumen right now. Like, is he even baptized? And I know he's not doing like Christian apologetics proper, but still, it's kind of weird. And also, Christians have historically said it's like not actually as fruitful or worthwhile to do apologetics against Judaism, which is one thing that's both a negative and a positive. But like Martin Luther was like, guys, at this point, we're not converting them. I tried for decades. Ooh, withers. Strip mine, TNT. Okay, I have the stuff. I just need netherite upgrades. I just need to collect more netherite for the upgrades. But I'm beacon farming right now. I'm gonna set up a beacon in the nether. It's actually probably not worthwhile. I bet it is easier to use TNT. I have TNT. I have like half a stack on me. I have more in my ender chest. First we mine, then we craft. Let's Minecraft. Let's see. Am I in the Reconquista? I am doing my best to participate. Can't always attend a mainline church due to circumstances outside of my own control, but yeah. And I do plan on going to the same university Zoomer is going to, so which is also mainline. That'll be cool. First we jihad, then we hard. First we G, then we hard. Let's jihad. True. Let's make a Baptist jihad. I don't think hot take. I don't think Jews actually have the second best arguments out of all religions because it's basically impossible to prove the Old Testament without proving the New Testament because there's so much of it that there's just no actual evidence for it, which is not necessarily that it's like it didn't happen, but there's so much of the Old Testament that's just like, okay, well, we gotta take the word for it. So like the creation account, there's very little evidence for that. Doesn't mean it didn't happen how it did, but like if you were to just look at secularly, you can't prove that. If you were to look at like Exodus, there is some evidence, but there's no conclusive evidence outside of the scriptures. And those should be weighed as evidence. Like this is a mistake that secular scholars make, where they don't actually weigh the internal evidence of the Hebrew scriptures, or pardon me, the Greek Septuagint scriptures. We got to get it correct here, people. But in my opinion, if I were to say a religion that has a good argument outside of Christianity, like I don't know off the top of my head, not Zoroastrianism. There's just way too much development in that where it clearly took Christian ideas. And it's not Judaism. It's probably some sort of pantheism. Well, no, I think there's too much good arguments for classical theism. Um, Actually, A religion outside of Christianity with the best arguments is like Arianism or Unitarianism. Holy glaze? What am I glazing? I don't know. You mean papism? Papism has some good arguments, I will admit. Like there are Roman Catholic arguments that are good, but they just don't use their good arguments. It's kind of unfortunate. Like redeemed gooner, redeemed boomer. How many variations of redeemed zoomer can we get? Because there's redeemed gooner, redeemed boomer. There's redeemed muir. Um, what else is there? There's redeemed Jumer. I think that was Oracula's name for a while. Um, help me out, chat. Come on. You guys are smart, or are you? Well, actually, no. You're watching a Wilhelmius Van Diaper live stream. I bet Paul single-handedly raised the collective IQ of this room. Come to think of it, come to think of it. Die. Hmm. I wonder if the chat is just not coming through on my end, or if I'm just not entertaining and you all left, because that's fine if you did. But I can't. Oh, there we go. It is just my internet. I see. You're continuing Anglican. Make with information what you like. I don't mind the continuing Anglicans. Ultimately, I am mostly a Reconquista supporter with some nuances, depending on which church bodies we're talking about. Because like if I were to be Lutheran, I would go LCMS. I wouldn't go ELCA. Well, unless I wanted to restore the episcopacy, then I'd probably go ELCA. But but obviously, I'm not going to become a Lutheran. If anything, I want the Lutherans to all join the Presbyterians and become a Prussian Union Church again. I am pro that, whatever that is. Romanism is a type of paganism, which I mean, I don't think it works to say that Romanism is purely like a variation of paganism, although it definitely has pagan influence. But I think even a Roman Catholic would admit that because there are things like altars, the way that were modernly used, were brought in as an attempt to redeem a pagan practice. Like the Kyrie Eleison, the song, was literally a song to Zeus, but it's also true, and we direct it towards the one true God now. So I mean, I think even to some degree, a Roman Catholic could admit that they've had pagan influence. I don't think they would say as much as a Protestant might say. Like, a Protestant's going to say there's a lot more pagan influence, but to some degree, a Roman Catholic could say that. Okay, we have 2 skulls. We need to get one more. There are too many system-level defeaters of Catholicism. That is the thing. And I've noticed, too, actually, after Redeemed Zoomer decided to make his video based on system-level defeaters of Roman Catholicism, that it seems like there's a lot of Roman Catholics who don't even accept critiques of Roman Catholicism that aren't system-level defeaters. Yeah, as one with an extremely pragmatist political ecclesial theory, I support both the Reconquista and the ACNA and the Continuum. Yeah, I definitely agree. I think we need to just siphon out all the evangelicals and non-denoms to be Reconquista. And like, if you're a Southern Baptist, go to a Northern Baptist church. Like, if you're a Southern Baptist seminarian, go to a Northern ABC USA Baptist seminary because they have more money. They are almost exactly as conservative. Like, very little difference, which is really interesting. Like, almost no difference in terms of the level of conservatism. Like 20, did you know 20% of the Southern Baptist Convention isn't even Trinitarian? But like, the ABC USA is more Trinitarian and on that degree more conservative. It just has liberal leadership, but they'll still pay for conservative people. There were tons of conservative people. So I would recommend doing that. Like, that would be the easiest Reconquista out there. And then the UCC would be next, and eventually, yeah, we need a Reconquista, the mainline Church of England, but we'll see how that goes. I might honestly, like, if I were to accept bishops in a episcopal structure, I would say it probably is true that we do need the schismatic churches to preserve apostolic succession. Now, of course, as someone who accepts presbyteral succession, I don't think it's necessary. So, like, just go to Just go to a mainline Anglican church as long as it's not heretical. Um, oh, based Skibbity Ortho Groiper is sick. Everyone pray for him. Yeah. Yeah, Newman says icons are pagan, like they are pagan development, which is honestly probably the clearest pagan development. I still subscribe to Ortland's thesis on that and the clearness of icons. It's so clear. Opinions on Ultra Kill, don't even know what it is. Base the other Paul sighting, it's true. He randomly shows up. It's the weirdest thing because like I watch his content and stuff, and then he's just sitting in the chat. Why don't you have netherite? Why don't you have netherite? And it's true. He's calling me out. He is calling me out. It's true. It's true though. I need to do better. I need to do better at Minecraft. I don't need to do better at like scholarship. No, no, no. Minecraft. Minecraft. Can't Protestants make our own churches? Why can't you? No, Protestants cannot just make our own churches whenever we want. Schism is sinful and wrong. We absolutely cannot. We can only make our own churches if we are forcibly kicked out of another. We can attempt to change those churches, so like the Presbyterians can attempt to change the Anglican Church, and maybe they'll be kicked out. Some of them actually did sinfully schism, but some of them were just in a different country, and they're like, we are the church of this country, and we're going to make that change. And the Anglican Church of the other country did not like that, so it led to some fighting. But no, yeah, we can't just say, actually, guys, I just want to make my own new church now. Like that is absolutely sinful and completely forbidden. It's anathema to the Christian faith. Like if somebody just goes and makes their own denomination, they're sinning and they need to repent. If I have a heretical pastor that believes in doesn't believe in Jesus, just go to another church. Um, Hang on, I gotta read these chats properly. Let me go to safety. The Continuum group has icons. Oh, that's cringe. That is cringe. As a Presbyterian iconoclast, that is cringe. Let's see. Well, you don't understand how anybody can support Gavin on icons when you literally have an icon from the first century in your church. I would dispute that dating. I don't think that's entirely true. But there's also a difference between icon veneration and the existence of an icon. There's, yeah, there's definitely a major difference there. And if you're going to look at actual iconophile theology, it's completely not present in the early church and, in fact, argued against. So there's actually a great clip on the other Paul's second channel where he talks about, both through Augustine and Athanasius, how they'll set about these principles, which, though they do not directly, condemn, iconophilia, they do at the very least, in principle, show that iconophilia is wrong, because if you apply those same principles to iconophilia, it would then condemn it. The oldest churches in the world all have icons. Well, how old are the icons? Like, um, icons are not pagan. Icons in their use in worship are pagan. As existing, they're not. Like, I have an icon of Martin Luther right across from me on my desk, but icons themselves, yeah. Was T.F. Torrance egalitarian? I don't know, but I think the term egalitarian was made by John Piper in like the 80s, so. Bro thinks he's St. Paisios. True. Some ACNA have icons. I really don't care. Yeah, Augustine's enumeration on Psalm 115. True. Other Paul coming in clutch. So, look up Augustine's enumeration on Psalm 115, and it's true that Augustine clearly sets out a principle that would reject iconophile theology. It's clearly rejected within Augustine. And that's no small figure. That's not like having, random Saint Gerardo of like South Sudan or something said something wrong about icons. It's like, no, it's Saint Augustine. And he's like, yeah, I believe in principles that would absolutely reject iconophilia. Like, that is no small principle. That's like having Athanasius say, yeah, I basically believe in the Protestant canon of Scripture minus Baruch. Oh my goodness, I'm going to die. Cheating. You don't worship icons? I mean, you say you don't worship icons, but there's a question on whether you worship them in effect or intention. So I don't think anyone worships, well, I don't think most people worship icons in intention, but some do in effect. And it would just depend. And again, like, I don't have a problem with icons of people who aren't God. I have no problem with them. It's their place in religious worship. And I don't mean that as in, like, you're worshiping them, but I mean that as in, as, you know, mandated or active activities within the church. Yeah, icons, again, they can be fine. I'm not a strict iconoclast. Skivity, Ortho, Bro, Groiper. Yeah, that's funny. Okay, anyway. You get so many of these swords when you go out killing wither skeletons. It's ridiculously annoying. We'll go get more skulls later. I have so many. I have a lot of beacons. I bought one of these and then I got 6 more. So now I have 6 or 7 beacons. I'm kidding. Great meme reset, great meme reset. I should show you guys the cross that I just made. Yeah, but anyway, so like the Roman Catholics will officially dogmatize and say don't worship the icons. And then I'll say to people, well, Roman Catholics, at least in effect, though they do not intend to worship icons, they do in effect. And then I'll be like, well, this statement here says we don't worship icons. And I'm like, you missed the entire purpose of my critique, you know? And I had that happen recently. If I weren't iconoclast and can I send you a picture of my icon corner? Yes, you can send me pictures of your icon corner. I don't, like, I'm not worried that I'm going to venerate or worship an icon. I'm not worried about that. It's other people that I'm worried about. So, but yeah, you can send me one if you want to show me your icon corner. Your name is because of a clip. You think it was, oh yeah, Redeem Zoomer out of context. I think it was out of context 2, I think. Yeah, where it's like Skibidi Sigma, Ortho, Bro, Groiper, Aura Farming Palimasite. Yeah, that's the one. That was a great clip. I was thinking about that. That is so based. I love that there's parody accounts of my parody account. Like, I'm a parody account, and there's parody accounts of it. It's so much fun. Are Seventh-day Adventists and Messianic Jews brothers in Christ? Highly skeptical. If they follow official doctrine, then no, because Messianic Jews are Judaizers, and Seventh-day Adventists are also Judaizers, and official Seventh-day Adventist doctrine is anti-Trinitarian. Like, they're kind of modalists, and whatchamacallit, Canon and Creed has a good video with Javier Perdomo on this. Like, they're not Trinitarian Christians. Doesn't mean none of them are Christians, but officially, like, their official doctrinal statement is anti-Christian. Athanasius includes Apocrypha is not inspired but helpful to read. That is the Anglican view. That is also the Presbyterian view. So, and like particularly the Lutheran view as well. Again, the traditional view, like these books are fine and they're good to read, but they are not inspired infallible canon and the inspired infallible speech of God. Although Athanasius did have Baruch, which seems to be the best attested of the apocryphal books, and I believe he denied Ruth, so he had an almost identical canon to Protestants, but slightly different. You have wept in front of icon of Christ and kissed it. You worship Christ through the icon. Okay, well, I mean, I would say that, yeah, you intend to worship Christ, so this is not necessarily something, like, you're not going to be necessarily judged for the sin of religious worship of, you know, a piece of wood or whatever the icon is made on. But the effects of your worship do transfer to the icon. Like, they just do in reality. And you can say, oh, the honor given to the image transfers to the prototype. And first of all, you need to prove that. And second of all, the original intention of that saying is describing how the honor given to Christ transfers to the Father. Can define the term veneration and worship. I mean, I would basically just accept what Augustine defines them as, but yeah, veneration is more so a civil honor due and given to things. So, like, I will venerate John Calvin. It's a civil honor, and what I would dispute is that Roman Catholics would shovel in and sneak in, and Eastern Orthodox as well, would sneak in aspects of worship into veneration. And so I would say they do that. and that is something that actually happens. But yeah, veneration it is an honor given to a thing, and then worship is the seeking to give the highest honor possible to a thing. To and seeing that thing as necessarily the highest thing. So if you're worshiping this or venerating this icon or whatever, seeking to give this highest honor to God, and then you're giving that highest honor to the icon, you are then worshiping the icon and giving the highest honor to it. But again, I am no expert on this, but that is my take. You think that Athanasius quote is fake? Which one? The one about the book of Baruch? That's yeah, I don't remember where I heard that one, but I think it was either Zoomer or Gavin Ortland who said that. Opinion on Islam, um it's like it's not a good religion. I don't believe in Islam. Believe it or not, guys. Believe it or not, but Jesus Christ is Lord and God. You venerate your parents, correct? Yeah. Like that's again, it all depends on how we define the term venerate. So there is a civil veneration that can be given to all, people worthy of it. So like we can venerate our father Abraham. But that is different than the type of veneration Roman Catholics describe because what they describe includes things like praying to them. It includes things like weeping and kissing of these images, which is not necessarily wrong in all cases, but it can be spiritually dangerous to some. And what they're snuggling in aspects of worship, and they are treating these people in a divine way, which they should not be doing, because that's heresy, Patrick. But yeah, the problem is it's not that Protestants don't understand the veneration and worship distinctions; it's that the ecclesialists don't. They don't properly distinguish between veneration and worship, and therefore they sneak in worship into their veneration. Yeah, a lot of the St. Augustine quotes that people give are either fake or he said them earlier in his career. And if you read the last book, he literally says he repents of everything false he says. Yeah, he doesn't. There's not a ton that he repents of in that, but yeah, it is true that last book he ever written was repenting of false things that he said. Um, as far as I'm aware, he did not repent of critiquing icon veneration, which he didn't do, but he critiqued. In principle, he critiqued icon veneration because the exact same critiques apply to icon veneration. It's like saying don't drive the blue shiny car at night, and then you drive the red shiny car at night. Like the critique applies. Christ is King, true. Yet that's true. Presbyterians do not read the Apocrypha in our liturgy. You venerate root beer based. Who's that pine sap guy you saw in the video and it made you severely confused? A Roman Catholic apologist, friend of Christian B. Wagner, and quite the stupid and asinine guy. If y'all watched the video, you'll know. Yeah. Anyway, this has been fun. I think we'll probably wrap up in like 15 minutes. So we'll go rapid fire questions. Papist apologist? Yes. He's not Catholic, he is papist. There is a difference. There is a difference. And I guess I'll have to suit myself out in netherite next time. You don't think the critique applies because you're talking about one thing specific and you mentioned the other thing, like in the blue car analogy. Well, within the blue car analogy, the point is that you shouldn't drive a shiny car at night because, like, I don't know, it'll scare the raccoons or whatever. So if I say don't drive the red shiny car at night because it'll wake up our elderly neighbors, and you drive the blue shiny car at night and it wakes up our elderly neighbors, you can't say, well, you didn't. Well, your critique doesn't apply here. No, it actually does. It directly does apply. That is like a critique that directly in every case does apply. The reason you shouldn't drive the car at night is because it's shiny, not because it's red. And that critique applies. So when Augustine says these things about images, the exact same critique that he uses about them applies to icons and the veneration thereof. Yeah, well, Augustine was. I don't want to call him Catholic because Roman Catholics will be like, you see. Roman papists will say that. But yeah, he was Catholic in the true sense of the word. Part of the universal one true church. Very great saint. Uh, Blue car probably has no lights. No, so you're changing the analogy. That's completely unfair, and I think anyone would recognize that that's not a proper way to argue. You can't just change the analogy. Like, if you can prove in reality that the analogy is different, then go ahead. But again, I would say look up the other Paul video. He has a good clip of it on his second channel about Augustine on icon veneration. So, you're serving as a boat boy this Monday because of purification. That's cool. Mac and cheese or grilled cheese? I used to be a really big grilled cheese guy, but I think I've lightened up. I think macaroni and cheese is better. Sue me if you hate that opinion, but it is better, objectively speaking. I'm gonna put a giant storage room down here. I don't know. What do you guys think? But I gotta start collecting materials for my mega church. It's just gonna be a big box. It's gonna be really ugly, actually. But you can't say it's not. It's because you can't say it's not beautiful because, well, like Christ just cares about what's on the inside, not the outside. Is Kierkegaard based or not? I haven't read enough Kierkegaard, or really any, but I think he's based from what I know of him. Thoughts on Israel? Depends on what you mean by Israel. Do you mean the modern nation state? Because I'm not too big a fan of modern nation states that falsely proclaim to be the true continuation of the state with the religion that was actually Christianity, like the ancient Israel, biblical Israel was Christian. So I'm not too big a fan of that. The stream was promised to you. Look up Alex and his video on icons. Okay, whatever. I don't even. When people say just look up this guy, just look up this guy, like I did just do that with the other Paul, but to some degree, it's I just don't care. But I will look it up. I'll look up his video on icons. I doubt it will change my opinion because again, Saint Augustine is on my side. Like I don't really care about an Eastern Orthodox lawyer when Saint Augustine clearly agrees. And like Augustine, again, at the time, Augustine's basically saying this without any critique. Like no one critiques him for saying it. He basically just says it because there are no icons to critique. If he's saying this thing that clearly critiques icons, but he doesn't even point out icons. He's like, "Oh, but this doesn't apply to icons." No, he just says it. Perfectly fine. Yeah. Oh no, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine to debate. You love Israel. Galatians 6:16. True. I mean, we all should love the true Israel of God. Look, I love Israel. The best. It is a priestly nation. Um, as it says in First Peter. So it's a great nation. Love Israel. Difficult to debate. Oh, I mean, I guess it is difficult to debate because I mostly just filibuster while you write out your stuff, and I didn't even read all of, like, at least not out loud. I didn't read all of what you said, so that's true. We're not Israel version 2. We're Israel version 1. Covenant theology, man. Covenant theology. It is true. Okay. Let us believe this way is giant cross. I don't know. Let's warp to Borealis. We'll do some Q&A in Zoomer's church. While Zoomer is, I assume, still doing Q&A, although I think he left earlier, so he's probably doing Bed Wars. Let me tap it up. Nope, he's still here. Zoomer is taking all my viewers. That's true. That's true. He'll be taking me soon because I'm gonna watch his stream while I get some dinner. Whee. Let's see. Let's see here. Close the door. Don't want anyone to see. To do. All right, all right. Let's answer some questions here. Top 10 moments to be taken out of context. True. Let's see. Base Skibbity Ortho Gorpur Palimpsest Ore Farming Rizzler 1488 Catechumen. You should change your name to that. Should Trenthorn be placed in Zoomer's basement? Absolutely. In fact, let's go to I keep opening the chat. We're gonna say T in chat. I have to rebind my keyboards because my F3 button, like, it mutes my volume or something, and I'm just too lazy to fix it normally, so Oh, this guy. He's in my town. He's in Hagan, the town that I'm in. Let's see. Thoughts on Mormons? I used to be like weirdly positive about Mormons. Obviously not anymore. I don't see how there's a lot of Christians who say like weirdly positive things about Mormons that they really shouldn't be. Oh, here we go. Right into Zoomer's basement. Banana's house. Secret house in the basement. It's funny to see a church and then like a bunch of heads on the wall. It's like those churches built out of human skulls. Um, I swear this had access to the basement church. It does, it does. Here we go. Here we go. Chickens. Uh, Mormons when a particular skin color exists. Yeah. Yeah, Mormons are just, I mean, they have some American excellentism to them. Those must be the icons. The chickens are the icons. It's true. Oh, no, the skulls. Yeah, right. You're right. The skulls. The icons are just literally human. We have the icon of this saint. It's literally their skeleton. That'd be funny. I mean, I'm just saying they venerate the bones of dead saints. Like they venerate all of Saint Peter's, like all 14 of Saint Peter's left legs. All right. Well, if you don't get any more questions in like the next 5 minutes, we'll probably wrap it up. I think this is good stream. We attempted to play Deltarune. It didn't work. Talked a little bit about the future of the channel. We had the other Paul on. We completely destroyed icon veneration. In reality, I haven't. Like, I haven't actually done any serious study. I'm sure I would be destroyed on it with anyone who actually has studied the issue, but I can beat the polemicists, which is all I need, really. Um, the tome of Pope Leo the Great is Western Christianity, not Eastern. True, true. Do I watch flights for my Syracuse? I don't think so. Have I ever read any of Father Seraphim Rose's books? And will I read his books? Will I? The answer is yes. Have I? The answer is no. There's a lot I needed to study about Eastern Orthodoxy. I basically just don't care because the Filioque is obviously true, but I do want to learn what they believe. I don't foresee myself being convinced because the Eastern Church taught or tolerated the Filioque for like 1,000 years, so I don't really see it as a viable option. Thoughts on women's ordination? It is false. I think it's now there's the question of whether or not is it like invalid proper or is it invalid in a different sense of the word. So like could we say yeah it can literally happen in a metaphysical sense but it's invalid, or do we say it cannot happen metaphysically? And the answer is I don't think it can metaphysically happen. I would lean against it, but it is I suppose it's possible. It's unlikely though. And yeah, it's wrong and sinful either way. Like even if it can metaphysically happen, it's still sinful and it's still wrong. What town am I building my megachurch in? I might build it in the mining lands, one of them. I don't know yet. Anatomical depiction of the saints, but all reported body parts that the Roman Catholic Church has quote unquote found. Like all 14 of St. Peter's left legs. That would be crazy. Debate Jay Dyer on monkey aliens. I'll debate Jay Dyer someday. Give me like 3 years of study and I'll debate Jay Dyer. Who's the guy who did that video? It's a pity both sides can't lose. What video? Um, yeah, he's gotten too soft on the issue. Well, that is the thing too. I think he's trying to get the boomer mainliners to like him, and there is a surprising amount of boomers who like Redeem Zoomer, but I don't think it's as many as he thinks, and this is an issue that Gen Z is predominantly leaning against women's ordination, so it doesn't even really hurt him to just say no, it's wrong, and just leave it at that. Like, it doesn't hurt him in any way. So that one confuses me, because it's not even like he has, a reason that he should do it. Like, he obviously shouldn't compromise his beliefs like that, but it's not even like there's a reason for him to compromise. So, that is one thing, and I've told him too. Like, I've told him that personally. that is I just disagree. Like he's just wrong. Um, what do you have? Is this preview? I don't know. Don't fall. Looks like worth. Have I ever gone to a divine liturgy? By that you mean an Eastern Orthodox service on Sunday morning? No, I did. I've never done that. It'd be like an hour away. It's a lot of work. It's hard work just to go to a Presbyterian church. So I'm not going further out of my way for an Eastern Orthodox church. At least right now. Someday I will, just for intellectual honesty to say that I have, and then disagree with it properly. But no, I don't. Trans son or gay daughter? I mean, gay daughter. At least you won't be mutilated. Yeah. He used to say he thought it was wrong. Now he hides his views, so it seems like he may have changed it since he started seminary. So what he says is it is valid but illicit, or he says it's valid, but he won't necessarily say if it's right or wrong. But he does say it generally should be men. So like men is normative and women is valid, though not necessarily should be normative. And I just disagree that women's ordination is valid. Like I think it is illicit and invalid, and he says it is valid but illicit. So, and I understand why he says that. It seems consistent with Protestant ecclesiology, except for the fact that like all the Protestant reformers would have sided against him on this, at least from my reading, which again is not as extensive as his. But I would like to see him actually give a citation of like John Knox agreeing with him, because we all know Knox would not have agreed with him. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'll skibbity am I 4. Boomers will be all gone in like 10 years. Yeah, this is true. This is why we need to promote Gen Z getting in the mainline churches and just basically ignore the boomers. Um, let's see. Hymns are so based. Yeah. You really think I should go before I try to learn everything? It's better that way. Okay, how about this? I won't study Eastern Orthodoxy again until I go to one of their divine liturgies, quote unquote. Anyway, I am committed to Protestantism. I see no way to justify not believing in justification by faith alone. No way to justify one true churchism. Like again, and icons are a big thing. Where there's no way to justify icon veneration. Yeah, Knox would laugh at Zoomer. Yeah, I think it is neither valid nor is it correct to ordain women. So that would be my main difference with Zoomer on theology, and then a few other things. Is it valid for you as a Presbyterian to try to not to try to reconquista because the PCUSA Church has women as deacons? Oh, is it just deacons? Because I mean, women deacons, I do disagree with women deacons for pragmatic reasons, because deacons have gained far too much and like it's against historic Presbyterianism, and deacons have gained way more pastoral roles than they historically had, and like there used to be women deacons because people would get baptized naked, and they wanted the women to do that, not the men, understandably. So like women deacons are valid. They're illicit in the modern form of the diaconate. Like the way the diaconate is set up does not work with females. It cannot work because it's putting a woman in a position she ought not to hold. But traditionally, yeah, they're like as long as your pastor, your presbyter is a male, and you're receiving communion from a man, and you're seeing having the word preached from a man, like that's valid. I would go. Like I'm not in favor of female deacons, but like my church allows for female deacons, and we don't have any, but and I disagree with my pastor on that, but like it's not that big of a deal, and he knows too. Like he preached on that out of the pulpit, and he's like, yeah, I think this, and there are a lot of people that disagree, and it's okay if you disagree with me, but like we think female deacons are valid, and I think that's just wrong. But like that's no reason not to reconquista. Plus, it's against Presbyterian ecclesiology to schism. So, if you are in a schismatic church and you aren't repenting of schism, then you are breaking the ecclesiology of Presbyterianism. But you can't repent of schism without healing the schism. I mean, yeah, I will try to go to an Eastern Orthodox divine service. It's just like it's incredibly impractical for me. It just is. And I have no good reason to think that if I don't go, I won't be saved. So I'm just not going to go. Like eventually I will within the next couple years, but again, like I'm taking my time with these things. Again, like I don't want to get into proper apologetics beyond just like the occasional yap, giving my opinion on on YouTube and stuff because I don't want to do that for a long time. I want to properly study out these issues, and I don't see the need to go to a quote unquote divine service. It seems superfluous at the moment, kind of useless in my opinion. Yeah, deaconesses are allowed, but women can't be deacons. Yeah, that's true. Like deacons as the male office in that like they are performing certain male only duties of the church that are common with presbyters. Like deacons are basically presbyters that can't preach, but there's a place for women servants of the church who are quote unquote deacons. It just doesn't fit with how we think of deacons today. But like historically there's been a place for female deacons. Your uncle became EO because they have beer at their Bible study. That's I mean, you should go to a Lutheran Bible study, dude. Like Lutheran Bible studies, everybody's drunk on beer. Just go there. Watch Old Sterling. I'll look into it. Will I ever debate Ben from Cleave to Antiquity when he starts debating again? I told him after he converted in a community post, I'm like, I would love to debate you in like 5 years. So I hope to do it. That is one of my big goals. Like him and Jay Dyer are the only orthos I actually really want to debate. Um, when you say quote unquote divine is in every service where we worship God divine. I mean, yeah, I would say that like the Presbyterian liturgy is the divine liturgy in like the true sense. So it's just I'm just distinguishing because I don't think it's the exclusive divine liturgy. Gavin Ortland icon. Can't talk in chat. You're busy. Yeah, it's funny. Can we try Deltarune one more time? I don't know why it won't open for me. Cleave should have been APA. Cleave should have been a number of things. What denomination would Palpatine be in? He'd be Roman Catholic. Palpatine would be the Pope, guys. He'd be the Pope. And a Roman Catholic shouldn't even be offended because, like, that's basically happened before. Like, seriously, there's been popes who were elected basically only for political reasons. And a Roman Catholic can just say, yeah, that's sin and God still guides the church. Like, they shouldn't even be offended, but they will be. They will be. They're going to be offended anyway. Deltarune is so furry. Yeah, Cleve is one of your favorite Orthodox apologists right now. Oh, I too I try to pray for Cleve every day. And I tried to, but I'm not very good at keeping my prayers consistent. But I don't think he would count as an Orthodox apologist right now. I think he's just an Orthodox influencer because all he's doing is platforming apologists. Yeah, the Pope saying, "I am the Church, I am the Senate." Yeah, it's literally happened. Luke is definitely evangelical. Luke who? Like like the book of the Bible? John Calvin versus John Pope. Wait, John Church versus John Pope. Cleves is gonna become Presbyterian. Nah. Thoughts on Andrew Wilson? I like him quite a bit. I think he's a useful debater. I wish he wasn't Eastern Orthodox, and I think sometimes he'll get mad at people for doing the same thing in debates that he does, and he's a presuppositionalist, which I think fundamentally ultimately fails, which is like the main reason you'll see him fail is because someone will examine their presuppositions really well, and they'll be able to run around the fact that of his presuppositionalism. Because ultimately, presuppositionalism basically just works to. Oh, hang on. It basically just works to skirt around establishing certain philosophical priors, and so it can work quite well for that because you can not establish certain philosophical priors, but it just doesn't work ultimately. Favorite theologian Athanasius. What denomination is your dog? He's a poodle. Your dog is probably a Methodist. Cleves 100% on ortho. You don't think he's going to change, especially because incident where he prayed and the incense filled his room. Yeah, I've had weird, spiritual experiences, but they've never influenced my opinion on a denomination, even though some people think they should have. Like, I've told people about them and they're like, why aren't you Roman Catholic or Eastern Orthodox? And I'm like, It just like the fact that you can have spiritual experiences with the saints and stuff does not disprove Protestantism. Like that is perfectly orthodox in Protestantism. So where are your papists at? Gay. Even if orthodoxy was 100% proven wrong to him, he wouldn't move on just because of that moment. That's cringe. I think that means that he's not capable of proper thinking, if that's the truth. Your dog is Chinese. That means she's three self-patriotic movement. Your dog is a Presbyterian papist. Your dog is probably like a nice Reformed Baptist kid. If he's a poodle. The one you think it was demonic? Interesting. So somebody I've told that experience to thinks it was demonic. That's okay. What denomination is Sans Undertale in? I don't know. I've never played Undertale. Chihuahuas are Pentecostal. Chihuahuas are all like female Pentecostal pastrixes. All right. Well, it's about dinner time. Chat slowed down. Redeem Zoomer stole all my viewers. How unfortunate. Well, any final questions? I think we will wrap it up here. Sad, big sad. Yeah, I can't stream indefinitely. As fun as this is, I'm not being productive. Like, I could be learning more about theology. I could be eating. Could be working out. Lots of things I could be doing. Bye, gamer. Kaya versus Hassan. Kaya will win. Thoughts on Pentecostalism? It's as heretical as Eastern Orthodoxy is. So, it's heretical in different ways, but it's very bad. Don't be Pentecostal. It's demonic. It's probably like I'm actually stronger against certain Protestant groups than I am against Roman Catholics and Eastern Orthodox. What ethnic group am I? I'm white, mostly German, a bit of British. Will I stream on Sunday at 10 a.m. for the SDA homies? Testify apologetics? What about Testify? He's okay. Ben, he's a great guy. He's funny. All the Protestants started crapping on him for becoming Orthodox was funny. Yeah, the thing is, he got money from his audience despite them thinking he was a Protestant apologist, and he just straight up lied about Anglicanism. Like he knew better, and he shouldn't have said that, and he retracted it and said he was wrong. But like, come on, that's not okay. Lots of really just kind of annoying stuff overall. But yeah, there was a reason to crap on him. Like he was a Protestant apologist, and he converted basically for non-intellectual reasons. Like, come on, you as an apologist should hold yourself to a higher standard than that, and you should seek to really, really know what you're getting into and really know all these arguments. Because it doesn't seem like, again, he converted for non-intellectual reasons, and that's obvious even from him, from his own mouth. He converted primarily because of that spiritual experience. And I know he has some intellectual reasons. He's not just sitting there like, oh, I have no intellectual reasons, but I believe it anyway. But still. Is CCM cringe? Yeah. Yeah, Paisios is simping for Cleve. It's true. I mean, I used to simp for Cleve when he was a prot. I think Cleve just has that way with people. Like, he's a likable guy, but come on. You mean the small Anglican groups that only have like 10 churches? Yeah, that's just bearing false witness, so I would suggest you to go and just repent of that because it's just straight up lying. Well, okay, no. God calls people to be intellectually honest, and he has an obligation to act intellectually honestly, and he has an obligation to be honest with the people who follow him because he was a pastor and he was publicly teaching. He has an obligation to honesty. Yeah, I understand he has an obligation to follow God over all else, but he has those obligations and he didn't fulfill them at all. So, no. Is it cringe to plan to go to Northern Ireland to get a Presbyterian wife? Yeah, very cringe. Very, very cringe. Thoughts on Orthodox Kyle? He's cringe and like his arguments for orthodoxy are terrible. Like probably the worst apologist ever. Like I would be embarrassed to be Eastern Orthodox because of him. Look, I understand it was an exaggeration and you weren't lying, but that's seriously like it's an exaggeration to the point of just utter complete misrepresentation. Like it's just completely false. There is no justification for that type of exaggeration other than just like exaggerating, playing fun. Because again, there are like many more than just like 10 conservative churches. And the vast majority of the ACNA does not ordain women, and it's not even forced. And again, when you have a church like the Eastern Orthodox Church, where like half of it is considered heretical by the other half at like all times, I don't see why a quarter of the ACNA having women's ordination and the rest not is somehow invalid or evil or wrong. Like at least like if you actually put it by the same standard and use equal weights and measures, that's not even a big deal. Yeah, Kyle is not the smartest bulb in the tree. Yeah, and again, he had a friend who was a continuing priest. He knew these things not just privately, but publicly they talked about these things. Like I watched publicly a moment when he knew, like he should have known. Like I used to watch every single Cleave to Antiquity stream, and he should have known. A second, Wilhelm hit the clock. All right, I think it is time to end the stream here. We've had enough Cleave slander, although it's not slander because it's truth. But anyway, do I lean neo-orthodox? No, I lean orthodox. GG, good stream. GG chat. Okay. Well, ah, good stream, good stream.